It's Thursday and it's time to paint. So I'm not sure how much I was able to show yesterday. I filled my memory up on my phone and I couldn't keep filming. But here is the baking soda or baking powder, whatever I used, that I put on these straws to get better texture in. So I'm just gonna knock off some of the loose extra. I'll just let it go down on the carpet and I'll vacuum afterwards. Then I think I'm going to try to paint just right over it and see how that turns out. Hopefully it'll stick down enough and then we can seal it all in. We're just gonna start brushing it on. Thin that out. Just pick a spot and go for it. I'm already feeling pretty happy with the choice to texture these straws. And so far it doesn't look like I'm just knocking it all off. Even though I'm going pretty rough with the paint. I'm not pushing in very hard, but I'm not being terribly gentle either. So let's get this all covered up. We'll have to choose something for the door because I feel like it shouldn't be the same stone as the rest of it. It should be more of like an iron or bronze. We'll see what we come up with. All right, we've got a coating of this light gray all over. And I've pulled out another, what is it, this country gray. That first gray was a lot more kind of a blue tone, and this one's more taupe brown tone. So now we're gonna go in here with this. I think I'm gonna do this door first because I want to get that kind of aged jade green old bronze color to it. But we'll have to have a base to start with. So we'll get that in there. You can really tell the difference in the color. I think we're just, yeah, like this. We're going to kind of stipple it around. Break up anything that looks too light or just much too dark. I like this brush that I've been using. It's beat up enough to not leave as many streaks, and I don't feel bad shoving it in all these weird little spaces. That's fine. All right, we'll come back to this when I've got all of this color on. Okay, I'm gonna try to make a color that looks like the aged bronze or copper. I think this one's close, but it looks too light to me. But we're gonna start with this. Just kind of mix some stuff together. Okay, let this dry up. I'm going to see if it's going to darken any when it dries, and then I'm going to hit it with another, either a layer in paint that I mix up darker, or I'll thin it out and kind of go with like washes to darken it to the right color, and then we'll dry brush a bronze-ish thing over it at the end. Let's try to get this squished back in. it off with my finger. Okay, I can cap that for now. And we can do some washes on the outside while this dries up. I think I'm gonna have to lay it out for some of these washes. Let them really sink into the cracks. Brown. Here's a black. I don't think I have a green right now because I used it all. We'll start with these. Got a good brush for it. Start with brown. I'll let this kind of run. I know my black wash right now is really strong. Yeah, this one I'll stand up. Let everything run down as it goes. Yeah. There we can focus and we're starting to be able to see it. They all look a little different now. All right, I'm getting this whole thing coated. We'll come back to it when it's dry enough to start on the next bit. I mixed up a little bit more green into this. I'm going to try putting this on first. So this is looking closer to the color. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if the difference really comes through, but this one's better. That's the color I wanted to be at. Getting better. Yeah. Even better in person. So we've got that, and then we're going to go to some black. I think I'm going to go with this top side first. Okay, let's get a black wash in. All right, I've got the black wash on. It's dried up enough for now. Looking pretty good, and I'm gonna move on to doing a little more to the door. We got some black wash in there, but now I'm gonna take some ink. Just gonna drip some right onto my brush and see what we get here. A little outside, I'll have to go back and grab that. Get it to look a little less, I don't know, fake. Sounds like the wrong term for it, but just kind of spot it in there. Go around. That looks cool. This ink does dry really, really shiny. We'll give that a bit and then we'll check in on it. Well, it's now Friday. What I was hopeful to be a one-day project is now on day 3. And isn't that just how it goes? But we're going to try to finish it off. I am going to take some bronze paint and see if I can kind of dry brush the bronze into here. It's looking pretty neat so far. That ink that I put on last time doesn't show a lot, but it still is interesting enough for me. I'm glad I did it. we've got our bronze paint. We'll use this one and see. I might switch to the copper paint. Let's get some of this on and see what it looks like. Just dry brush in here. Nice and thin. This one's a bit of a darker, more reddish tone than I'm going for at the end. But I do think if I had a better door to start with, this would come out a lot different. It's interesting to try, but I'm not 100% in love with it. Something with a little bit more detail into it, I could get some better spots for it. Because as it's going now, it definitely just looks like I'm painting over it. That's okay. Where's my other color? Ha! We found it. Okay, let's try this one. It's a little brighter. Get the edges. Looking back on it now, I think I should have left the trim of this doorway in the stone. That makes a little bit more sense to me. And I could always go back and change it later, but I'm going to keep going with it for now. It's okay. It's really okay. I think we came out with an interesting shape. I like a lot of the stonework look on these pillars. I still got some smooth spots in there. So maybe they were smooth at some point and then things just started accumulating on them. Yes, there we go. I think it's time to call our painting done. Not too bad. It's really not. Putting this here. There we go. It's not so bright anymore. Toned in a bit. I like it. I'm leaving it alone. One of these days I'll get better at doors. I like how these came out with the different bricks going on them. Ta-da! We've got a mausoleum. We've got a tomb dungeon entrance. I think I do want to get a little bit of greenery on here, some flocking to give it a little bit of a mossy look. And then it'll be complete and we can seal it up. Alright, I've grabbed some flock, some moss, some tiny plants. They've made out of twine, some painted, some not. And I'm just going to start gluing some down. Plenty of glue. That's way more glue than I wanted. So let's see. Let's just pick some spots. Glue things on. Here it is. I am finally done. I did add a lot of moss to it. And I had a lot of fun. Just picking different spots. Really helps it come together. Got some tufts of grasses and plants growing in the corners. Moss all over, even picked a couple places in the rocks to trace along the lines and put moss in. I do still need to spray it with just a water and glue mix to help seal everything in so nothing falls off. I'll probably hit it with a matte spray paint. But I am done making changes. Even my door, I did add moss to that too. I'm not 100% pleased with it, but for the first aged copper metal look that I've done, I can say that it's good enough. Yes, I'm happy with it. I'm pleased. I'm not changing anything else. This is how it is now. Thank you for joining me for this. I hope that everybody will end up liking this mausoleum that they've got to break into on Sunday. And I'm glad that I've got it done with enough time to actually prepare the rest of my one-shot and know what I'm doing, instead of just having a cool set and no clue what the monsters are. Thank you for coming along if you've made it all the way to here.